You flip on the basement light and something launches itself off the wall in your direction. Long legs, a hunched back, and a jump so sudden it feels aimed directly at your face. Most people scream, stomp, or sprint straight back up the stairs. Here's the good news. That thing has never once actually attacked a human being in its entire existence. This is the camel cricket, sometimes called a cave cricket or a spricket, and almost everything that makes it look terrifying is actually a set of adaptations built for one very specific lifestyle: surviving in total darkness. Let's start with the name, because it's more literal than you'd expect. That distinctly hunched, arched back, running from its head down to its rear end, genuinely resembles a camel's hump, which is exactly where the nickname comes from. Combine that with a body that looks a little like a cross between a cricket and a spider, and you get a creature that manages to look unsettling from almost every angle. Now, about those enormous back legs, everyone notices first. They're not decoration, and they're not built for walking around casually. Camel crickets use those oversized hind legs to launch themselves in sudden, powerful jumps, an escape mechanism built purely for speed. Living in caves, basements, and crawl spaces means constantly moving across uneven rock, loose debris, and cluttered storage boxes, terrain that rewards a strong, explosive jump a lot more than it rewards a graceful walking stride. When a predator gets too close, the camel cricket doesn't need to outrun it. It just needs to launch itself somewhere else entirely, immediately. Here's a detail that surprises people once they hear it. Camel crickets have no wings at all, which puts them at a real disadvantage compared to most other crickets. But in the pitch-black, damp environments where these insects actually live, flight would barely help anyway. There's nowhere useful to fly to in a cramped basement or a narrow cave passage, and wings take a lot of energy to grow and maintain. Evolution essentially cut that entire feature and reinvested everything into legs instead. Legs built for jumping and legs built for sensing the world around them, which turns out to matter a whole lot more underground than flight ever would. And that brings us to the single most famous camel cricket behavior, the one that scares people the most. They jump directly at people, seemingly out of nowhere, seemingly on purpose. Here's the truth behind it. They're not attacking you. In most cases, they don't even know exactly where they're jumping to at all. A camel cricket suddenly startled by light, movement, or vibration reacts with an immediate reflexive jump meant purely to get away from whatever just disturbed it, and if a human happens to be standing in that general direction, that's simply bad luck on your part, not a targeted assault on theirs. It's a fear response, not an ambush, which is exactly why these encounters feel so alarming even though nothing dangerous is actually happening. So how does an insect that lives its entire life in total darkness even find food in the first place? The answer is in those absurdly long antennae stretching out from its head, often longer than its entire body. Camel crickets rely on those antennae, along with sensory hairs on their legs, to feel their way through the dark, picking up on vibrations, air currents, and the texture of whatever surface they're crawling across. Vision barely factors into the equation at all. In a world with no light, touch and vibration become the only senses worth investing in, which is exactly what this insect did. Once they actually find something to eat, camel crickets aren't picky in the slightest. They're essentially full-time scavengers, feeding on fungi, decaying plant material, dead insects, and organic debris scattered across cave floors and basement corners. Indoors, that same scavenging instinct means they'll occasionally nibble on cardboard, paper, or fabric left sitting in a damp storage area. And in a pinch, they're not above eating other camel crickets either. That kind of flexible, take-whatever's-available diet is a huge advantage in an environment where food can be scarce and unpredictable for long stretches at a time. Step back and look at the whole animal, and it genuinely looks assembled from spare parts pulled from several different creatures entirely. A body shaped almost like a shrimp, a back arched like a camel, legs built like a grasshopper's, engineered purely for jumping, antennae stretching out like something borrowed from an entirely different insect altogether. None of it happened by coincidence. Every single piece solves a separate problem tied to the exact same core challenge, surviving and thriving somewhere with no light at all. Some camel cricket species take that dark, secluded lifestyle to an even more extreme level, living almost their entire lives deep inside cave systems where they may never actually encounter direct sunlight. Over generations, some of these species have developed noticeably reduced eyes, since eyesight offers essentially zero benefit in permanent darkness. Instead, they depend almost entirely on touch and vibration to understand their surroundings, to find food, and to avoid whatever might be hunting them in the dark. So here's the honest version of the camel cricket story. Nearly every part of its body that looks strange or threatening at first glance is really just a highly specialized adaptation for surviving somewhere most insects couldn't last a single day. The oversized legs exist to escape danger instantly. The missing wings reflect an environment where flying was never going to matter. The long antennae function as eyes made entirely out of touch. What looks bizarre on the surface is really just millions of years of evolution quietly solving the exact same problem: how to live somewhere with absolutely no light at all. So the next time one of these launches itself off a basement wall in your direction, take a breath before you reach for a shoe. It's not hunting you, it's not aggressive, and it has absolutely no interest in anything other than getting as far away from you as quickly as possible. If this changed the way you look at the bugs jumping around your basement, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who've been terrified of something completely harmless their whole life. Let me know in the comments, have you ever had one of these jump at you out of nowhere? And did you know back then that it was never actually trying to attack you? Subscribe if you want more videos uncovering the truth behind the creatures most people completely misunderstand. See you in the next one.